What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we have a reaction to Jon Batiste's 2021 album, We Are, brought to us by our friend, longtime patron and supporter of the channel, Josh. Thank you, Josh. Always appreciate you. Josh actually brought a video triple song battle to one of our live streams recently with John. I enjoyed it greatly. I'm not even sure if one of these songs was on it or not. You know, I only heard it once, but looking forward to diving into this because I don't know a lot about John. So on that note, let's look at some quick facts before we jump into the album. John's an American musician, band leader, and television personality. He's recorded and performed with artists in various genres of music, from Stevie Wonder to Prince to Willie Nelson to Lenny Kravitz, Ed Sheeran, and even Mavis Staples, who may or may not make an appearance on this album. He's released his own recordings and performed in more than 40 countries. He regularly tours with his band Stay Human and appears with them nightly as band leader and musical director on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Since 2015, he's done that. He also serves as the music director of The Atlantic and the creative director of the National Jazz Museum in Harlem. In 2020, he acted as co-composer on the Pixar animated film Soul, which is awesome, by the way, for which he received an Academy Award and a Golden Globe with Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who are both with Nine Inch Nails. What a composing trio. He's a member of a New Orleans musical dynasty. Several of his families have been in all these bands and performed on their own. And John himself, at the age of 8, played percussion and drums with his family's band, the Batiste Brothers Band. At the age of 11, he switched to piano at his mother's suggestion, which was quite the good suggestion. He developed his piano skills by taking classical musical lessons and transcribing songs from video games such as Street Fighter Alpha, Final Fantasy VII, and the great Sonic the Hedgehog. Here he released his debut album at age 17. He went to Juilliard, got a bachelor's from there in 2011, a master's in 2013, and put out his second album while he was still in college. About this album, there's not a lot out there about this album. It's his 8th studio album, released in March of 2021. Went to number 86 in the US. He began working on it in the fall of 2019, making it largely in his dressing room over 6 days in September and finishing it by spring of 2020. While largely written and recorded prior to the events of 2020, the album's lyrical and thematic content reflects such events as the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and his involvement in 2020 leading Black Lives Matter protests in New York after the killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Speaking to Outward Magazine, John described We Are as a representation of genreless music that's just about the story and a culmination of my life to this point. Before we jump in real quick, if you never watched before, there'll be a Vimeo link below. You can watch right along with the music. It won't be in this video because it get blocked for copyright purposes. Let's jump right into this with, as you see below, the title track. It was a single, features the band from his New Orleans alma mater, the St. Augustine High School Marching 100. Now, there's not a lot of research on this album, but what there is, and I like this with the newer albums, almost every artist that releases an album of any sort of nature that's of any sort of commercial success talks to Apple Music. John did that. So I got quotes on almost every single song, so it's great to know what they were thinking during it. John said, "This is a moment of celebration, but it's also undetermined. What are we going to do? Who are we? Until this or that happens, it's all a question." All right, let's check it out. So the outro, there's a nice little lead up to the next song, Tell the Truth, but I got to stop it here. He's going to talk about this song a little bit. He had another quote, but I didn't want to read it beforehand because I didn't want you to know what was coming on. But John said, "We Are is the overture of the album. I wanted to have the marching band from my high school on this record because it's a historically black high school. There's a lot of legendary alumni. I was in a high school band and I graduated from that school. It also features three of four generations of my family. My grandfather and my nephews are all on this track. It was a really special one because it goes from Southern marching band culture to gospel to what I call horror disco, all within the span of 4 minutes. And it really does. There's so much stuff going on here. John pretty much plays everything. Corey Wong plays the guitar, but John plays the strings, the electric piano, the theremin, the synthesizer, the mellotron, the keyboards, the piano. So he's got it all on lock, which is to be expected because this guy's a savant. He's a true musician and composer. I think he's encouraging, African Americans. The ghetto is full of stars. Watch them shine from afar. On days when it's hard and always. Nana knows how to sing and soothes us all from summer to fall and always. And then that pre-chorus, joy, she won't let it go. Oh no, that she doesn't know what she doesn't know. And then the chorus, we are the golden ones. And it changes to we are the chosen ones. And then the country is full of stars, but they're in a war, blind in the dark. He's hoping to medicate the painful ache to change his fate. But then that pre-chorus goes into him, joy, he won't let it go. Oh no, joy, that he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And then it just goes on and on. We're never alone. No, we're never alone. Then that interlude of speaking. Neither angel or a king could break this thing. We got to get our soul in order. Got to have that inner peace, haha. Ain't nothing man cannot give you that. And then we finish out with the we are. And then that crazy, what he could describe as horror disco way to end out the song. Now we're going to move on to track number 2, which you heard a little bit of the teasing of it. Tell the Truth. Jon said we recorded it at the legendary Sound City recording studio in Los Angeles. All of us were in the same room at the same time, and it was done in one take. James Gadsden, who played the drums, played with Bill Withers and on all the classic records with the Jackson 5. He's a living legend who still plays like he was in his prime. Wow. It's about the advice that my dad told me when I was 17 years old when I left New Orleans to move to New York and go to Juilliard to start my career. He told me to stay true to who I am, no matter what you're looking for, no matter what you're looking to do. Wow, sage advice from his dad. Tell the Truth, and as I mentioned in the reaction, very James Brownish in vocal delivery, just totally different vocals. He only plays the piano on this. We got someone else on percussion, acoustic bass. Celeste Henderson's on guitar and vocals with that callback on there. Sarah Thaler's on drums. But it's just about what he said. His dad telling him, my daddy had a small house up on the east side. Willie down the block threw me the peace sign. Moved to the big city. Now we sit and killing. My daddy growed up when times was hard and gritty. And then the pre-chorus, whether looking for love, are you looking for fame? Before you go off, better know the game. He said, tell it like it is. Love how you live. When you're doing what you do, just tell the truth. And that's the mantra of the song. And he said, I'm thinking about my papa now, that I'm a star lost in translation. People all across the nation, just say it plain and simple amongst the complications. So just say what you got to say. Tell the truth. Really good performance. It already shows you the versatility that I think we're going to see on this album. I mean, I mentioned in his quote at the start, genreless music, and I think we're on our way to that. Now we'll go to the third track, Cry. Jon said, the loss of innocence is something that is not quantifiable. It oftentimes is something that we can't fully understand until generations later. The decisions we make collectively sometimes seep into our consciousness or our subconscious mind, and we don't know why we have this weight on our shoulders. You could be living your life every day, and then one day you just feel this overwhelming weight, and you don't understand where it comes from. I think that collectively we all felt that in the past year with the pandemic and all the social unrest. Wow, what a song. Nice little blues soul action in here. Same musicians as the last song. So I didn't know if Jon was going to do all the instruments on most of these, but same musicians as the last song. Great guitar in here from Celeste Henderson, and also great acoustic bass from India Owens. So the song itself, kind of a lament. Why do you love? Who you going to love? Why do you love when push comes to shove? How does it feel? How's it gonna feel? How does it feel when it's getting too real? And then that chorus, why sometimes does it seem like all I want to do is cry, cry, cry. And then he keeps repeating that, cry, cry. What can you say? What you going to say to make it okay? And who's going to pay? Who will you fight? How are you going to fight? Who will you fight to make it all right? And then the bridge is floods keep on rising, tears keep on falling down. Oh, why? And then at the end, he kind of speaks out in a different voice for the love of the innocents, for the struggle of the immigrants, for the wrongful imprisonment. So you can see 2020 all over this one. Fantastic song. Now up to the fourth track. You see it below, I Need You. Jon said, it's the same message as Cry, but it's the opposite. It's black social music mixed in with a pop song. It's like if you took the music that Little Richard or James Brown or my father and uncles would play in the Chitlin circuit in the 1940s. The type of dance like the jitterbug and the Lindy Hop you would see in Harlem. You mix that with contemporary pop and hip hop, and that's what you would get with this song. That's quite the introduction. All right, that was a fun one. Totally different vibe to it, obviously. Jon's back on here playing a bunch of instruments, and you can just feel it, this almost ragtime feel to it. Really enjoyed it. He's on piano, electric piano, synth, alto sax. You got India back on the double bass. Got electronic drums on this one. Just a really fun one. We've done a lot of living. He starts out with a chorus, which is a nice touch too. We've done a lot of living. We work in overtime. Don't need another million. You got that gold mine. I love the way you're living because you're so genuine. You've got that something special. Didn't you know? I just need you. And then he just kind of goes through things, even shouts out, I never put down my alto saxophone, and he's playing the alto saxophone. Musicianship, high level here. His vocals are really good, right? He can sing in different styles and can really pull it off and seem genuine from those styles. That's a very rare gift, even though, he's not known as a vocalist because he's so diverse, obviously, instrumentation-wise and musicianship-wise, but really enjoyed that one. Enjoyed the vibe on that one. Now you already see it below. We'll go to the fifth track, What You Talking About, which for a child of the 70s and 80s, I think of Arnold on Different Strokes, but that's not what this song is about. Jon said, I had a vision of the way you come through this career as you become more and more successful, especially as a black entertainer in America. It's like going through a video game when at every level you beat, you get to the next level and the boss is harder. I imagine myself jumping into the TV and running through different levels of a video game. You get to this point in the song where there's this 16-bit interlude, and I called my boy Pomo to help me craft this to have more pandemonium. All right. I don't even believe in genres, but I will call it punk, video game, jazz rock. All right, Jon, I think you just invented a genre. What You Talking About? Jon rapping on here a little bit, even throws out Pac's name. I've never been jailed, I've never been popped. I never will have the message of Pac. See, I can go talk fast too. May never have the voice that you rock, but I dare you to call me and tell me to stop. Didn't you hear the president sang? Obama was singing Amazing Grace. There's so many things I'm delighted to say. Remember when the country was bay? So he's just flying through all this stuff. I don't really know what I think of this. I think I admire it as much for just showing his versatility of being willing to do all these different things. There's no instrumentation or musician credits here, but very big change after a little bit, almost an outer space type weird thing going on there. But lyrics are really good. I mean, you got a lot of lyrics in 2 minutes, 21 seconds. It's an interesting song. Now we're going to go to the track Boyhood. Jon says, it's not just a song about growing up. The sound of it feels like what it felt like. We went to the studio with Jahan Sweet. I remember him when he was 18 and he moved to New York from Florida. Now he's producing for Drake, Kalani, and all these people. He called me up and he was like, man, you're the only one I know up here. We used to rap and make beats in the dorm room. I knew that he could help me to channel the feeling of what it's like to live in the South. Boyhood. We got PJ Morton on here and Trombone Shorty. Interesting song here. He went full hip hop here. Right? And, you know, he's just talking about what it was like to grow up in New Orleans. He's got Superdome cheese dip. He's throwing out where the Pelicans and the Saints play. Just throwing all this stuff. Of course, when Pop would give me ends. Grandma was an ATM buying bubble gum and M&Ms. I just had to rot my teeth out. Basketball into the treehouse. Too short to catch a rebound. Maybe that was my calling. Wasn't my calling, but she could still see me balling. In the post-chorus, you could see me balling. They just, from New York down to New Orleans, and we'll throw out to Popeyes in here. And then he says, go ahead, PJ. And PJ Morton sings this bridge really beautifully. And then Trombone Shorty and then boys come in with, of course, the brass. So really interesting song here. I liked it. Really different. Now we're up to a 2-minute instrumental, movement 11. But it is important in the narrative of the record. Jon says Boyhood, which we just heard, movement, this track, and Adulthood, which is the next track, is the spine of the record. Those 3 songs are literal representation of my coming of age. When you get to Boyhood, I'm telling you literally what it was like, which he was. We just listened to it. And then Movement 11 is my growth into an adult when I moved to New York at 17 to go to Juilliard. Movement 11, so you can feel the drama build. Obviously great piano work from Jon, but it starts out kind of smooth and then you get this drama-filled stuff and then kind of smooths back out. His move, you know, we all remember moving away from home if you're of the age, and you know the excitement that is, but the scariness that it is that you're out in the real world and realize, wow, this is different. So enjoyed that one. Now we're going to go into the track I referenced when I was reading the stuff about this one. We have Adulthood. Jon said the transition from movement is this rich, multi-layered, classical-esque kind of thing where all of a sudden you just mature. The first half of the album has all these different songs going on in terms of just the universal and communal. And then on the second half, it goes into this place of just the internal and personal. That's like how it is when you're young and you got fire. You're figuring out who you are and you're looking at the world around you and people give you advice and you hear all these things about the past. You're trying to reconcile it all. Then all of a sudden, you're an adult. This is true. I'm going to let this play into the next, it's not a song. The next track after this is Mavis. It's only 20 seconds long. Jon says, Mavis Staples is fantastic. I was talking to her during the pandemic. She was dropping all these gems on the phone. I wanted to really capture that and share it with the people because I felt privileged to be able to be her friend and to collaborate with her over the years, to really learn from her. She said the words that are on the song, and I said to her, can you say that one more time and let me record? It was one of those things you can't plan because if you try to plan it, it won't be the same. So I'm just going to let Adulthood play right into Mavis. It's only 20 seconds, and then we'll share the thoughts. All right, let's start out with Adulthood. Obviously, because Jon's a composer and so good, you know, with his musicianship and so accomplished, he understands in a song how to build the drama through the instrumentation, not just through the words. And this was a very interesting song, Adulthood, because it kind of went and came across a little bit of different styles. Just as you go through your adulthood, right? The things that you want. In the middle of it, he does a little prayer. Dear Lord, I pray that you bless our relationship. I pray that you help us not to fight and to get along and to go to church on Sundays. So he's growing up, right? Now he's in this relationship. And then as it plays out, he's just telling her all these things he wants her to do. I know you don't like to dance in public, but I love it when you get loose. It's phenomenal. You so phenomenal, and we're going to find a way. It's emotional. Room for us to grow. It's phenomenal. We're going to find it. Yeah. Just a great song. And then we're going to take that into really the prelude to our next song, which is Mavis, but I want to handle it on the front end. She says, I'm a praying, because then we're going to go into the song itself, freedom. But Mavis says, I'm a praying child, period. That's where I get my freedom. I'll tell you. Freedom to me is the ability for men and women, all created equal, to speak, think, and do or not do what you want. And boy, that just seems basic, doesn't it? But unfortunately, that is just not the case, not just in the United States, but of course all over the world where you have a lot of oppressive governments. That's going to take us into the song Freedom, which Mavis is transitioning into. Jon says, if you think about the movies back in the day, you wouldn't show a black man with a white woman, or you wouldn't show a black relationship, or you wouldn't show a woman in a certain role. That is our sexuality and how people are representative. That's why people like James Brown, or when we saw Elvis with the twist in the hips, did. They were unlocking something in people that they were trying to hold in. These people became beacons of freedom, and you look at the way they move and the way they express who they are on stage. That becomes the way that you want to be in life. Freedom. Wow, that song packs a ton into 2 minutes, 58 seconds. This song was on Josh's Battle because it showed him performing it live on the Stephen Colbert Show, and I'm pretty sure this song won that triple battle. Just all kinds of changes in the musical tempo, right? Singing in a regular voice, and he can get up into that higher register and sound perfect. Just all kinds of tempo changes, man. And just what we were talking about, moving and feeling free, man. I love how you talk. You speak in my language, the way that you walk, you can't contain it. Is it the shoes, jumped up kangaroo, we're overdue for a little prancing? And then the pre-chorus, now it's your time, you can shine. If you do, I'ma do too. And, the reason we get down is to get back up. If someone's around, go on, let them look. You can't stand still. This ain't no drill. More than cheap thrills. Just a fun song, and so well put together. Now we're going to go to Show Me the Way. Jon says this is a beautiful song to play when you're cruising in the car with someone you care about, or just cruising by yourself and doing your thing. It's an homage to the many different culture creators who inspire me. I've been doing Zoom sessions with my friend Zadie Smith, who is a writer and sings on this record. We'll do these virtual jam sessions and have real conversations about the music we want to listen to. So it's really an homage to all the great black musicians, and also great creators of all races that have inspired us. Show Me the Way. One of the best songs on this album. It reminds me of almost a 70s song, right? Because it's got those sweet harmonies. Zadie Smith's on the start of it, on that first part, and then just those sweet harmonies with almost a funky underlying instrumentation in there at times. But Jon's versatility with his vocals is quite impressive, man. It starts out with the chorus, and if I don't know, you got to show me the way. I can't sing it like Jon, but he enunciates out, show me the way. And then shout outs to Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and the Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, we got everybody up in here. We got Nina Simone, and then the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And in his last verse, I really ain't trying to play no games. You and me in exotic lands, traveling through space and time just to relax, get cool, unwind. Turn that record player on, blast me your favorite song. Yeah, oh yeah. Just an excellent song. And now as you see below, we're going to go to the song Sing. There's also another song right after it that's only a minute long called Until. So we're going to do both of those together to finish this album out. And Jon says about Sing, it's the closing credits song of this thing because the album is like a movie. It's meant to be listened to like that. You've had this journey and this experience when you don't have words to say and you feel overwhelmed with emotion. Just sing. You really have experienced the power of that through the course of that movie. And then it goes right into Until. And Jon has kind of the same quote he had at the start. He was sort of talking about both songs. He said, this is a moment of celebration, but it's also undetermined. What are we going to do? Who are we? Until this or that happens, it's all a question. That's how I wanted to end the album, because if you go back to the beginning in a loop, it'll keep feeding you. It's constructed to be cyclical. Let's finish this thing. What a wonderful way to end this album out, right? Sing is a much sweeter, dialed back song, but still builds on some energy, right? He's telling you what I was saying in the intro to this. On the verge of crying, I don't feel like trying, but instead I'll sing. Yeah, when you're down and out, just go sing, man. Escape from it. When I'm done with worries and no one's around me, don't you know I'll sing? Yeah, oh, I love to sing. When I can't find the words and everything starts to hurt, I'm done with this heavy heart. I let all my burdens off and I sing. And then the chorus, oh, 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 sing. Oh, I love to sing. Just a wonderful song. Just telling you know what, man? Like, life is full of troubles. It really is, man. We live this life of up and downs. But, man, when you've been down, you know what it feels like to be up. You're going to be back up. And then, unfortunately, you're going to be back down. But he sings. He finds his solace and comfort in that. We all need to find something that we find our comfort in. And then it just goes out into the piano, into the Until song. It's really not a song. It's an outro where there's a little bit of percussion in the background. It's just someone telling him, John, let's go home now. That's the only line credited here, but a great way to end this thing. And that were my favorite tracks. And you know, John said it when he was summing up this album, it's meant to be listened to like a movie, like you're taking on this journey, this cyclical movie. And in that, it's kind of hard to pick out tracks. I'm going to go with Freedom. I'm going to go with the first song, We Are, and I guess Cry and Sing. This is a really good album, right? There's all kinds of different things on here. That's going to get me to my overall score. And that is the thing. He said genreless, and he wasn't lying, right? Sometimes people throw out these phrases to get you interested in their album, and then you listen to it, and you're like, not really that. This is truly, there's no genre on this. I don't even know how I would describe it. Overall grade on the first listen is interesting because, you know, I love the reaction format where I stop and we talk about each song and I tell you what it's about, and I afterwards I tell you what I think of it, and that's great. But for something like this, I would like to be able to go back, and I will after this, and listen to it and no interruptions and just let it wash over me. On first listen, I'm going to be at an 8. John is a fantastic musician. I want to dig into some more of his stuff, but I'm going to listen to this one on repeat. Josh, thank you for bringing this one. Didn't even know who John was till a couple weeks ago when you brought him in the stream, and this was a wonderful experience. So thank you, everybody, for watching along with us. If you like to be a patron and support us in any way like Josh does, check out the link below or the link on the end screen that's about to hit. The patrons make all this possible. Until next time, guys, I will see you.